Hello, Bills. I'm just making a quick updated video to clear up some confusion about the ASM and the new cluster ID. Well, ain't really so new, but it seems some people are still having some trouble figuring it out. Okay, now this is not an actual server. This is just on my home desktop. As far as like the first video, cluster ID on both servers needs to be the same, or one server, two server, three server, whatever. Um, Always the same. Hit this cluster directory override. Make sure that box is checked. And scroll down to the rules section and enable tribute downloads if you want to send and receive items and stuff. And then this no transfer from filtering, that means you can share stuff amongst your clustered servers, but nobody from the outside, like a server across the world or whatever, that's not with your cluster ID, can't bring stuff in, basically. Uh, so, you just check these boxes, whatever you want, no or yes. But I just do this. I do the enable tribute downloads, enable the transfer, and then you can adjust your times on how long the items will stay there or whatnot. But the biggest thing is to make sure your cluster ID is exactly the same on every, I'll just create another one and another one on every one of these servers. Now, if you have older versions of ASM, or which you shouldn't, you just want to also make sure these servers are not in the same directory. This doesn't. If you put them all in the same directory, none of the config files. When you come over here to this first server, you make all these changes, and you hit save, then it saves. And then you come back over here to the second server. If they're not in different directories, when you hit save, it's going to overwrite everything that was in this one. ASM was built to manage separate servers, and I don't know if Arc changed the old way that they wanted you to do it with the same directory and all that bullshit. It's been a minute since I've been able to actually play Arc or, do anything. But my servers are still up, they're still running, there's people playing on them, and nobody is telling me that the cluster don't work. I have 3 servers all clustered together. Center, SE, and regular island. Uh, that's all you got to remember. Like I said, make sure ID is the same. Cluster directory override is checked, and your rules enable tribute downloads. And like I said, I like this one. And these guys put a lot of good work into the ASM tool. I mean, if you highlight over everything, it explains it to you. Now, some LAN users, you may not be able to see the servers in the uh, in the portal when you try to join it. Sorry, I got the hiccups. This is due to a couple different reasons. Your router could not handle NAT redirections very well, and it doesn't know how to ping itself back. It really depends on your network. So if you don't see it right away and you're playing on the same network that you're hosting from, ask one of your buddies that's on an outside network to see if it works. There's been different reports of, it works for some people on land, it works for, and it don't work for others. This really depends on your network and your hardware. Well, basically your hardware. What kind of router do you have? Do you have a good router? You know, because a lot of the good, high dollar routers, they have the ability to read back into itself. Some other ones don't. So, if you have any other problems or questions or comments, leave it in the video or go to the ASM forums. All the links will be in the description. I hope this clears up a little thing that I can. Just remember, separate profiles, separate server save locations, all the same cluster ID directory override, or cluster directory override, excuse me. And then make sure you do your, under the roles section, enable tribute downloads and transfer and adjust your times. That's as simple as it can be. Thank you. Have a good day.